Good morning, my brothers and sisters at Southeastern. I miss you. I hope that I can come see you. I want you to know that the search process is still ongoing, and we just need a break where we can move some folks around, get a visit with our key candidate, and hopefully in the next few weeks be able to announce your new preacher. Until then, you're stuck with me. And as some of you have heard me say before, I'm not much to look at and I'm hard to get rid of, which makes me Brother Fungus, I guess. Anyway, I love you. I miss you. I pray for you. I'm in contact with your elders and your ministers every week, and they're working hard. I appreciate everyone that's gone to the extra efforts to make sure things get posted on the web. I appreciate all of you and your comments that you leave on Facebook and YouTube. And please know that your prayers, your giving, your faithfulness, your passion for Jesus matters now more than ever. And there are a lot of folks who have visited with us online that have never been in our building. And whether they ever come to our building or not, they're part of our family, and we want them to draw closer to Jesus. If you're one of those folks that are taking a peek and looking at what's going on at Southeastern, welcome. This is a warm family, good people. They love Jesus, and they'd love to have you a part of their fellowship. This morning, our focus is from Psalm 5 and verse 3. And I invite you to follow along. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you, and I wait in expectation. One of my favorite people is Richard Melton. He was a shepherd, an elder, a pastor for the church I preached with in Abilene, Texas, Southern Hills Church. And Richard had a precious spirit, a pastor's heart. And each Thursday, we would go to the hospitals and visit people. And this verse, our verse of the day, Psalm 5:3, was one of his favorites. And somewhere along the way in the visit, Richard would quote the verse, and he would say, and his hands would almost automatically go up and his eyes would look to the heavens, and he would say, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you, and I wait in expectation." Richard had a life of experience. He came from a little town named Roby. He was proud to tell everybody that. But he had had a rich life of experiences with good things and hard things. And in the middle of all these things, Richard's faith stood passionately with Jesus. And he believed that each morning when he rose up and prayed, God met him in that place. That Jesus was there at the Father's right hand as his intercessor, that the Holy Spirit empowered his prayers before the Father. Where does such faith come from? What is the foundation for this faith? Well, the motivation for such faith was that God moves at any time. He didn't just move when things were going well. God also moved when things were difficult and hard. This psalm, if you look at verses 1 and 2 in Psalm 5, arises out of lament and hardship. Hear my words, Adonai. Consider my groaning. Listen to the sound of my cry for help, my King and my God, for I pray to you. Our faith is built on a foundation, a motivation that trusts that God moves in all kinds of times. And we can go to him whether things are good or bad. And this psalm arises out of lament and hardship. The second foundation for such a passionate faith is inspiration. That inspiration is rooted in a conviction that God can bless in any situation, even those that appear hopeless or frustrating or difficult or trying. Times like we're facing now with social distancing. God can bring new things in the middle of hardship and difficulty. That's why so many of us like Romans 8:28 is a key passage for us, because we believe God works all things together for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. He is the God of new things. And so each day gives us an opportunity to go to Him in prayer and ask for Him, the God of new things, to do something fresh and exciting. If He could create the world out of nothing, if He could create order and beauty and specificity out of chaos, then surely in the middle of our mess, He can work something beautiful too. And so we rise up in the morning and we present our request and we wait in expectation. The prophet Jeremiah, in times of desperation, Jerusalem was shattered, destroyed. Judah, the land of God's people, was in absolute disarray. The viable, the young, had been taken into exile, and the old were left to die with the poor and the sick. And in the midst of the rubble, in the book of Lamentations, Jeremiah utters his faith's cry. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Oh God, great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. So I will wait for Him. Yes, in the morning, Lord, you hear my cries, and I wait in expectation. Such a strong faith is not just rooted in the motivation that God acts in all kinds of circumstances and an inspiration that God will take our worst moments and make something beautiful out of them, but it also is rooted in the expectation that our God is a God that longs to hear from us. He longs to be in fellowship with us. Jesus coming to earth is a reminder that God loved us so much, He came to us. He didn't require us to get good enough to ascend to Him. God is a God who came to us, for us, to be with us. Jesus told a story about a prodigal son, a son who rebelled from his father and went off to a foreign land and wasted everything. And then, in the middle of his degrading situation, the son goes, I can go home to my father. And I can say, Father, I'm not worthy to be called your son, so make me like one of the hired servants. And so he did just that. But of course, as he made his way back to the father stood on tiptoe, trying to look over the edge of the horizon. Every day looking for his son, waiting in expectation for the day he would come home. And when the father saw him at a great distance, he ran to meet the son. He hugged the son. He placed a robe on his son. He brought him home. He threw him a feast. God was waiting in expectation for him. If that's the kind of God we have, then surely we can join the psalmist and say, in the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you, and I wait in expectation. Yes, we wait in expectation on the Lord because we know when we point our heart toward Him, when we point our heart toward home, He runs to meet us. It's been a little over a year since my friend Richard passed away. I don't believe he died. I just believe his body quit. and that he's gone to be with Jesus. It's a lot like the story of Enoch. Enoch walked with the Lord, and then he was not anymore on the face of the earth. And I have always pictured Enoch walking with God, and one day God says, Enoch, we're closer to my place. Why don't you come and just stay with me? And even though Richard's last days were difficult physically, I know each morning he waited in expectation for God to say, Richard, thank you for walking with me this morning. I think we're a little closer to my place, so why don't you just come home and stay with me? We wait in expectation. As Richard aged, I noticed that some of the times when he would pray, he would add an extra word. And so when he would begin his prayer, and his hands would immediately go together in this look of prayer, and his eyes would rise up toward the heavens, he would say the prayer this way. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you, and I wait in eager expectation. We know each morning that we can go to God and we can wait in expectation with what he will do with our request. And our requests are not just for us. Those requests are for others who struggle with life. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice, and I wait in expectation.